Hey guys, so in this video, I wanted to show you three quick ways that you can improve your deliverability so that you can just basically get more responses from your campaigns, more positive responses, book more meetings, close more deals, everything like that. So the first way is, and this is something that we started doing now within our agency, is turning off the open rates and open tracking, click tracking, and everything like that. We keep the emails that we send as plain HTML. So for the longest time, I used open rate tracking as kind of like a gauge. So now when we launch a campaign, we keep it on for maybe a couple of days. And then after we've got a good baseline of where the deliverability is, then we turn it off. But I think actually in future, very near future, we'll start just turning it off completely from the get-go. Because I had a very interesting argument presented to me, or an interesting perspective, which is, realistically, if you were to be sending emails to people like one-to-one, you wouldn't have a tracking pixel within your within the email, which is basically what the open tracking does. It puts like a tiny little pixel in your email to say if someone has opened your email or not. It's not always 100% accurate because sometimes the pixel can fire without someone actually clicking or opening on your email. So it's not 100% accurate. But yeah, if you think about it like that, if you was to send out emails like manually one-to-one in the way that email service providers would want you to use their email service for, you're not going to have a tracking pixel in there. So that one argument kind of shifted the way that I look at it, and I've removed them ever since. And the campaigns are doing much better in that sense, in terms of responses and people that are like the positive responses and opportunities that we're getting from them. The second way to do this is to, and this is actually counterintuitive, with is it's just to focus on good copy and good offer. So realistically, if you're using Google or Outlook and you have a proper setup done and you have SPF, DMARC, DKM, like all of that stuff set up, like if you've got that, then, and you've got your custom domain tracking, you're forwarding to your main domain, you've got some level of like social proof, you don't include like links or anything in your first email. If you've got all of the basics down right and you're not sending like crazy volume, like over 30 cold emails per day, and you've warmed up the domains and everything, you've warmed everything up, there is no reason why you should have issues with deliverability other than the fact that your copy or offer sucks. So if your copy and offer sucks and people aren't responding to it or don't want it, they'll be marking you as spam more than likely. You either have two camps. Either people will just like ignore it completely and they just don't care, or people just start to see it as spam. And if they start to see it as spam, they'll just keep marking it as spam. And then that's gonna, you might have like a good open rate, you might have like all of that kind of stuff if you are tracking it. But if your offer is not good and you send it out to enough people, a lot of people are going to start to mark you as spam. So it's not anything to do with the deliverability. It's actually to do with the copy and how human it looks. Does it look like it's relevant? Does it look like it's personalized? Does it look different from one email to the next? And that's actually my next point that I'll go into in just a second. But does it look different from one email to the next? Does the offer actually resonate with who you're reaching out to? If you have all of those things, like, you shouldn't really be worrying about the technical setup, as long as you have the fundamentals there and you're not tracking like, open rates and click rates and all that kind of stuff, then really, like, if you have the fundamentals there, then realistically it's down to the actual copy and the offer and everything. Because if that's good, then people aren't going to mark you as spam no matter how many emails that you send. Obviously, you try and adhere to kind of like guidelines of 30 max cold per day. But if it's not very good, then people are going to mark you as spam. So it really genuinely is as simple as that. And the factors that make it good are how relevant, how personalized, and also what the offer is, and then who you're putting it in front of. If it's in front of the right people who want what you're selling, like, people won't mark it as spam. Right? A really good example of this is, I don't know why, but I don't pay for YouTube Premium for whatever reason. I hate getting ads. Like, I hate getting ads. But there has only been, I can remember in the past like month or two, one ad that I was like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. And I just did not click off it. Whereas the rest of the ads, I was like, can this video like just get off my screen? I just want to watch the YouTube video. I'm like, get off my screen. I don't care. Like, I think that ad is spammy. Like, it's not, but that's how I interpret it. It's like, get out of here. I don't want to see you. Like, kind of like a fly or something. But when there's an ad that was like, oh, this is actually interesting, this is something I'm actually genuinely interested in, right? Or it appeals to like a pain point that I'm going through or a challenge that I'm going through at a particular time. So it's relevant, it's personalized, it's directed at me, and it's a good offer. Then I do not want to click off it. I'm actually curious to go down the funnel and see like what else is there and what they're doing and everything. So just a thought, your email is exactly the same. So yeah, just think of it like that. And then the third thing is spin tags. So spin tags is basically, let me see if I can show you. I won't show you in this video, but spin tags is basically a very simple way of, hold on. Okay, cool. So spin tags is essentially, so we'll show you here, spin tags. Spin tags is basically a way to have every single email that you send out completely differentiated. So instead of, so let's just say you have a generic hi, and then you just put like their first name here, and then you put saw your profile on LinkedIn and wanted to reach out. Obviously don't do this, but this is just an example. So if you were to send 30 emails a day, every single person would get this exact same line. The only difference being that this is like the variable here, right? The first name, right? So that would be the only thing different. But then what that looks like to Google, obviously you'd have the rest of the email, XYZ, and so on and so forth. That looks, that doesn't look to Google and Microsoft. That looks like you're sending the same thing over and over again. You're just changing one little variable. Now, if you use something like AI and you have the first line that's personalized, every single one of these is going to be different, which is great. But the way that we could take this a step further is we use AI personalization to obviously differentiate every single, like different parts of the email. We use multiple variables. But then next thing that we can do for the rest of the email is spin tags. And normally, right, normally we might have like, I don't know, AI generated line here. And then you have like, I don't know, your offer, and then CTA. Now, the thing is the offer and CTA are going to be the same for every single email, but this is going to be different. So this is a good start, and this is a good way to differentiate every single email, and to have it like as, you know, basically not for Google and Microsoft not to view it as like you're just spamming the same thing over and over again. But one thing that you can take a step further is to use spin tag, like I said. So you could use it with, let's just use this as an example. So saw your profile on LinkedIn. The way you do this in Smart Lead or Instantly is you would change particular words. So you could put like notice your profile. So saw, noticed your profile on, and then, or you could put like came across your profile. You could put like an account on LinkedIn. I don't know, just to say I use Twitter instead or something. Twitter. Unwanted thought. That would be like thought I'd wanted to reach out, and then you could even put like connect full stop, and then something like that, right? So I'm going to show you what this would look like in like a smart. All right, cool. So this is what it would look like. It's just a test campaign. So let's have a look and see. So let's just say email A is like your regular thing. So let's just say this is came across your LinkedIn profile. I wanted to reach out, and then you'd have offer, CTA, etc. And then let's just say in email 2, you have it like this. And then, so if we were to go into the review, this is what it would look like. So this would be email A, just like the regular. So every single person is going to get that. Whereas email B would have a different variation every single time. So saw your account on Twitter and wanted to reach out. And then if we go back to here, noticed your profile on LinkedIn, thought I'd connect. Came across your account on Twitter and wanted to reach out. I came across your profile on LinkedIn and thought I'd connect. I'm not sure why it's doing. That's very interesting. I'm not sure why it's just constantly switching from saw your account on Twitter to thought I'd connect. Feels like there's only two lines that it's using, which is very interesting. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But anyways, you get the premise. I'd have to play around with it a little bit and understand why it's doing that. But you get the premise. What this is doing is basically making sure that no two emails are exactly the same. The emails are very slightly different from each one. So those are the three things that you can do to improve deliverability. Get rid of the open rate tracking and turn off click tracking and all that stuff. Make sure that you have no links and anything like that in your emails. Make sure that the offer and copy is good and consistently test it, and make sure it's relevant, personalized, and targeted towards the right people. If you have that, that's the most important thing. And then number three is spin tags, which you can use multiple variations to basically send a huge amount of volume and not have two emails look alike, basically, which is a huge hack. So yeah, I hope that helps.